Welcome to the Moonstamp Cast number 2.28, I think. Usually this is where I start with an intro joke to get the podcast started, but this week's going to be a little bit different. We've had weeks before Brian's out or I'm out where the other person does the podcast. This week we just couldn't align on our schedules. So I've kind of been thinking about how do you play around with the format of podcast, which is like, it's a pretty simple medium. You just talk to the other person, which is what we've done for how many ever episodes at this point. But I kind of want to do something different. So welcome to the Moonstamp Cast, a Tale of Two podcast, where Brian and I have picked topics before this. So about 6 different topics. Also, you can see Jill in the background. 6 different topics. I don't know if he hit all of them. I only know what he started with because I had to look at that to make sure I wasn't. So I started with that to make my editing life a little bit easier. But we don't know what the other person has said. I've not seen what he said. He doesn't know what I said because he recorded earlier. So it's going to be an odd one. You should, if you're watching the video or listening, it should cut to Brian in a second. I'll probably say when it cuts to Brian, and then I'll just start the new topic. Yeah, it's going to be either something that's really cool and we try to do again if our schedules never align, or something we do where, like, you know, when your parents bring a friend over for the night and say you never see them again, we just don't talk about it and don't think about it. So welcome to the Moonstamp Cast, a Tale of Two podcast. Let me cut to Brian.
Hey, everybody. Brian from Moonstamp Sports and the Moonstamp Cast. So we're doing a very interesting episode. I don't know if this is being played first in the episode or if this is being played second in the episode because I'm not editing this project. So our schedules didn't line up today. So instead of doing a Jorden solo, we're going to I have time in the morning. So I'm recording my solo stuff and he's going to record his solo stuff. And we're going to see if we're on the same page anywhere. So we send each other some notes. I don't have a lot, so I'm going to try to go for 10 to 15 minutes. Don't know if I'll get there. I say that every time, but we're going on this adventure together. I also slept like shit. So this is going to be bad. I don't even know where to start. I guess we start in college football, where Lane Kiffin was given an ultimatum, which is so funny. Oh, man. Good for Ole Miss. Really. Good for Ole Miss. Like, you guys are in the middle of a run right now. Middle of a SEC and playoffs run right now. And you need to know if your coach is committed. It's crazy. They're a top-tier program this year, and they were last year, but they had the most talented team they've ever had last year. And they lost 3 games, which is crazy. But no, I like this out of Ole Miss. I don't like Ole Miss, but I like this out of Ole Miss. Take a little power away from the coaches. Yeah, it's weird siding with the school, but coaches can just up and drop what they're doing and leave to go to another school whenever they want. They could just quit and get a, quote, better job. So the school's giving them an ultimatum. I'm not exactly sure what the ultimatum is, but I think they want him to, like, we need to know if you're leaving or not before the Iron Bowl. Not the Iron Bowl, the Egg Bowl. Yeah. So good luck, Lane Kiffin, and good for Ole Miss. This is so weird. It's like siding with a corporation over an employee. Ew.
Thanks, Brian. I think. I don't know. So I know he started with the news about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is probably, in my mind, the number 1 college football supervillain. You could say that maybe Brian Kelly was, and even when Brian Kelly was coaching, I didn't like Brian Kelly as a human entity. Because Brian Kelly killed the kid, and Brian Kelly just seemed like the worst. He seemed like the most annoying person you ever have to talk to. I don't know if you've ever been like me, where you're trapped at talking to a person who just sucks at a party, and you're just like, go away. That's Brian Kelly. Lane Kiffin is interesting, and that's the problem. He's an interesting fella. He's the supervillain in that he never lets you know what in the world is happening up here, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get to the top. And the top depends on where he is. It's like most coaches, if they're at the if they're at Ole Miss right now, and again, this could be completely outdated by the time the podcast comes out. If they're at the top of the sporting college football world right now, they go, well, I have a lot to build on right here. I think they talked about like a certain percentage of Oxford, Mississippi was at the game because it's a smaller town and like this is the only show in town. And so if you're Lane Kiffin and you have that kind of support and you have what a 10-1 season so far, could be more than one. You could, I mean, theoretically, given nothing else falls apart, given they win every game for the rest of the season, they could win the college football national championship. But Lane Kiffin, and I need to disclaim something. I am a straight man who's never dated a man, never wanted to date a man. So this is just from listening to TikToks and also just talking to women in my life. Lane Kiffin seems like the kind of guy that you date in college who is always trying to find himself. As in, he's never happy with his current situation. He always knows he can do better. And he's always kind of looking to upstep that into something better. And even if he stays at Ole Miss, I do think the whole situation has kind of degraded his trust with the university because he could have done this, come out and said, I'm not going anywhere. This is my school. I'm willing to build here at Ole Miss. Kind of like Tom Herman at UH, except maybe unlike Lane Kiffin, he actually left, but maybe like Lane Kiffin, he actually left, or it depends on what Lane Kiffin does. You kind of eroded that trust with the players and the fans and the administration where it's like, he could have come out and just said, I'm leaving. But instead he gets really cryptic on Twitter. And as someone pointed out, he posted like day 224 and 225 is the area code for Baton Rouge. I don't know if that's correct. I haven't fact checked that. I will never fact check that. It's more fun to pretend in the dark for a second. I could do it right now. I won't. But Lane Kiffin, and I keep saying his name for a reason, because like in the Shakespeare's The Tempest, we learn that words hold power and words can really create and destroy. Lane Kiffin, his name destroys all hope in your franchise. I mean, but this is not the first time ever he's done this. He loves to win somewhere, go, I have an opportunity elsewhere, and then go elsewhere. And now there are two different worlds he can go here. Go Florida, his Florida home, or LSU, which may or may not, I don't know, may or may not have a better building block than, I don't know, really know right now, because both programs are kind of at a lower point than they have been for a while. Both because of their coaches, even though I think Brian Kelly's probably the worst coach to have, because again, he killed a kid. I am interested to see where Lane goes. There was that whole jet tracker with his ex-wife, who may be his wife. I'm not really clear on that. I'm not sure they are either. They may do the thing with your parents who had a friend over that one night. Don't know. Don't really care that much. I just know she was out and about with his son, touring high schools in both Baton Rouge and Gainesville. Does that mean anything? No. Is it possible Lane Kiffin sent them to do that? Also, yes. Again, because he's a supervillain. Like, I say this, but like, think with me for a second. Are we above it all Lane Kiffin getting in, trying to get in his opponent's head, trying to get in everyone's head just for funsies? Like, there's a world where Lane Kiffin this weekend goes to an adult co-ed cheerleading competition just for fun, just to kind of mess with all of us for a second. And like, I love that about him. Like, if I was a college football coach, I feel like it'd be more Lane Kiffin than I would be like a Nick Saban. Not for the other things. I think the other things are bad. But in that, I like to mess with people. I think it'd be really fun to mess with people. All that to say, I don't know where he's going. I don't know if this ultimatum is real. I would imagine it kind of is real if you're Ole Miss, just because I think you'd like to get that over with sooner than later. Because if your head coach is doing well, is leaving, you'd kind of like to know that so you can go maybe, I mean, James Franklin's off the board. I don't think Ole Miss is hiring Brian Kelly anytime soon because they saw what Brian Kelly does to a program. I don't know what their move would be. All that said, Lane Kiffin, America's supervillain right now, and a college football supervillain, that is. And it's kind of fun, but if you're an Ole Miss fan, I imagine you hate your life. If you're a Mississippi State fan, you actually might be having a great time.
I'm gonna be completely honest. His other two notes that Jorden sent me. Oh, okay, college basketball, nothing about.
In college basketball, And again, I am going in the order I think Brian's going in. But college basketball, I don't know if he had any notes on that. I imagine he had not many notes. I have one main note, and we can talk about the games that have happened this week. But my main note is I don't know when the AP polls comes out on Tuesday, I think. And so we'll have to see. I don't really know Arizona's schedule for the rest of the week. But given they played UCLA, UConn, and Florida, they have beaten all three. Now, the UCLA of now is not the UCLA of the John Wooden era. It's a different world. But like at the same time, it's still UCLA. I think they're like 17th in the Big Ten now, but also every Big Ten team is like 4-0 or 4-1. There's maybe like 1-3-0 team. It doesn't mean anything right now if you're in Power 4 conference to where you are. Unless it's UH, who may be ranked first. I don't really know. Which we'll get to in a second, kind of when it comes to as much as I think like a Purdue win over Alabama or a UH win over Auburn. And by the way, they did not play well that game. UH did not play well that game. Or like, I don't know, what did Illinois play Kentucky? No, Michigan State played Kentucky. Like a Michigan State over Kentucky, except I don't think Michigan State has a grasp on the first place. And also first place in the AP poll does not matter right now. It matters come like January, February. Right now, I don't give a shit if I actually don't want to be first, because then as a UH fan who was first for a second there, I don't like other teams having the ability to come at us and be like, this is number one in the nation. It's like, I think it was end of the 2022 season, 2023 season where it was number one UH at Memphis, and Chad had to hit like a last second shot. All that to say, I think Arizona has the best, like if I had a vote in the AP poll, I don't. And the AP poll, as we know, genuinely does not matter all that much, based off vibes and also reporters who don't have all the time in the world to digest games and also are very biased. They're like, again, I call baseball writers dweebs for making the worst possible decision at all times when it comes to the Hall of Fame. AP poll voters in both sports, in all three sports, women's college basketball, and college football, all kind of the same. I know there are other things, but if I have a vote, I'm voting for Arizona. They have the best case. They are I'm not going home the best team in the nation. So I don't know if that's true, just given that I don't know what I believe. Like, I don't know. I don't know who the best. I think Purdue, Houston have better. Purdue probably might be. I don't know who else would be. For those of you watching the video podcast, I just had to cut. There was a fucking dog messing about. But Arizona right now has the best case to be number one. They've beaten UConn. They've beaten Florida. The national championship defending Florida. But again, they don't have Walter Clayton Jr., so I don't know how much. It's a different team than it was when they won the national championship in March or April. I'm casting my vote for Arizona. I don't have any problems with that. At the same time, like, it's November. Come December, it'll be a different ball game. Come January, it'll be a different ball game. Come February, come March. It's going to change. But I do think Arizona right now is the best team in the nation. Also, this is just a pet peeve. I saw someone online. It was actually on YouTube Shorts, I think. I saw something about Bryce James. It was analyzing Bryce James's game, maybe against UCLA. And I don't think Bryce James played all that much. And he was talking about how Bryce James just isn't ready for the big time. Yeah, he's 18. Like, I do miss the days where like one and done was a kind of a special unit. You got a couple one and done in the season, maybe one and done, like one real one and done. Everyone else was not a one and done. You get to develop them some. And now it's like everyone expects them to be, and not to make it the joke of they expect them to be LeBron James coming into college, but they expect Bryce James to be LeBron James in college. I haven't looked at his stats. I'm not going to tell you if he's better than Bronny or not at USC. I think Bronny's USC circumstances were also quite different given the whole heart attack thing of it all. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, he's actually doing better than Bronny. Oh, who gives a fuck? I do hate the idea that we let go of this ability to think that people can develop in college. I'd like to believe that maybe Bryce is not the all-stars candidate right now, but he could be if he develops some. He's on Arizona, which I just talked about. Maybe the number one team in the nation. I would vote for them as number one team in the nation, at least right now. Do I think they'll win the Big 12? Probably not, but they could. Tommy Lloyd could win the Big 12. I don't know. But with all that said, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Bryce James not being a top 5 starter on the team or a top 5 player in the nation really affects me all that much in terms of my thoughts on him. Because again, he's 18. He's not like we look at Kingston Flemings. Kingston Flemings is also one of those special cases. I saw him do a no-look assist with Oakland. That's not easy to do. Even if Bryce James was this amazing player, I don't know if I expect him to even do that at 18. He's 18. He came from playing the private school circuit in California. Give him a couple games at least before we start criticizing him. It was like game 2. That's just something I have a problem with.
The Rockets, man, 5 games in a row for the Rockets. KD is such a good player. It's crazy. At 37, he's still doing this. And I think it's a relief that he's on the Rockets, this young Rockets team that is very talented, that he doesn't have to he doesn't have to carry anymore. He can score, 16. He can have an off day, score 16 points, and we can still win a game. So I'm loving this move. I'm loving this team. I've only seen a couple Rockets games this year because it's football season, baseball season just I guess it's been a month and a half since baseball season wrapped up. Anyways, I'm a football guy through and through. Basketball normally is after the Super Bowl for me, so I've only seen a couple games. So I forgot that Clint Capella is back on the Rockets. Dude, between Alpi, Clint Capella and Steven Adams, I fucking love our big guys. And I guess KD's 6'11", or he says he's 6'10", even though he is 7 foot. He is absolutely 7 foot. But I don't know why he's so against being 7 foot. But it's so nice. Oh, dude, it's nice to have a player like KD who can finish games. That's been the problem for the past forever with the Rockets, is the inability to finish games. And KD brings that. He's a cold-blooded killer, man. It's just nice. It's nice to see that the Rockets have given us Houston sports fans hope. Because, I guess the Houston college football or college basketball team too. But just like us, couldn't get the job done. Neither one of us could. For us in football, y'all in basketball. What a fucked up year. What a truly fucked up year. I got fatter. So I gained some weight. I just saw a clip or a still frame of one of our earlier podcasts from a year ago. Yeah, I've gained weight. You can see it in my cheeks and stuff. So I've gained weight.
Thanks, Brian. I'm going to say that every time, I think. We're talking about the Rockets. I imagine Brian spoke about the Rockets some. I'm not going to. I'll just say it because I don't want to fight myself anymore. This is a Larry O'Brien year for the Rockets. It feels like, and I think I've talked about this with like Texas A&M and their football team. It feels like everything is just lining up so perfectly in every way. Reed Sheppard, a guy who last season was on the G League, he's a 2-way contract guy. I don't know. He was not playing, is what I'm saying. Everyone kind of gave up on him. He looks like he's bounced back. He's better defensively. I saw someone say that he was the best shooter in the NBA. Don't think that's the correct take. But I'm not going to say like he hasn't improved significantly on his shooting. I think he's like 46% from the field. Something like that, which is, he shoots a relatively high amount of threes. Against the Trailblazers, he got, I think, 4 steals, which maybe someone had money on that. I can't confirm or deny that. Who knows? At the same time, that's a pretty good stat for a guy who last season we were like, I don't think he can guard anybody. Because he's like 6'1", 6'2". I've been happy with the turnaround of Reed Sheppard. And you have Şengün, you have Thompson. You have like this young core. And then you go and you have like Steven Adams. You have KD. And there's something really cool about that we have like two generations where Steven Adams, again, was never like the guy on a team, and that's not his fault. He's just not the position he played. KD has been for so many years, other than maybe the Warriors years, and maybe the early OKC years. He's not been the guy. He's had to be the guy on those teams. Like, look at the Nets. Look at the Suns. Look at the Suns. I mean, look at the Suns. Like Devin Booker they tried to make Devin Booker a thing. Devin Booker's still not a thing. And so it probably is pretty nice for KD to be able to come to this team and be like, I don't have to have my foot on the pedal at all times. It's not like wholly up to me. And you see the way he and Şengün reacted to Reed Sheppard a couple nights ago. I am really high on this team from a team chemistry and a play standpoint. Now, again, it's a long season. We might meet the Warriors in the first round again and lose, because that is the curse of the Rockets for the next 1,000 years, and the Texans will lose to the Chiefs every time, and the Bills the next 1,000 years. And that could be coming back because the Rockets, the Bills and the Texans play tonight on Thursday Night Football. I don't know, but this is a really, really cool team that has like this really fun, young, old dynamic. And I say old is like they are old. Like KD is 30. He's 36 or 37. And that, I mean, in basketball years, that's a guy who's, I mean, by this time had 5 years on a yacht. So I am, I mean, not basketball, 5 years on a yacht, but I mean, most guys are not making it that far. It's really fun to watch this team. It'll be fun to continue to watch this team as its dynamic progresses, as the young, old dynamic progresses, as you see Reed Sheppard hopefully progress. You see Ben Thompson, Şengün get better. So I'm not gonna pretend like I know a ton about the NBA, but with this 5, I'm not upset about it. This might be the Larry O'Brien year.
This is such a fucking bad podcast. I've gained weight. Notre Dame lost the national championship because, of course. Astros missed the playoffs because, of course. The Texans are so fucking frustrating. Or the offensive side of the ball is so frustrating. Oh, right. That's why I can't record in the evening. I probably should have clarified that. It's because I'm going to the Thursday night football game, because we record these on Thursdays to edit and put up on Fridays. So since I'm going to tailgate and go to the Thursday night football game, I was unavailable to podcast today with Jorden. Dude, this is so bad. I should have drank some coffee. I don't drink caffeine. I don't drink calories. I don't drink caffeine. And I should have, because this is horrible. This is like a stoner podcast without being stoned. Or drunk without drinking anything. This is horrible. That's how sleepy I am right now. I don't even remember how we got to this point. I don't. It's only been 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Jesus. All right, where were we? We were talking about how fucked up this year was. That's right. Yeah. Houston lost the national championship in basketball. Notre Dame lost the national championship in football. Astros missed the playoff. Texans are super frustrating. So it's been a bad year for our teams. Maple Leafs choked. Avalanche got eliminated round 1. Just, man. No, I guess they didn't choke. They had to play Florida. That sucks. Maple Leafs. But I don't know. I don't know how. What is he a fan of? Not Arsenal. Not Real Madrid. Liverpool? I think he's a Liverpool guy. Yeah, Liverpool. I don't know how they're doing, so I don't know if that's fucked up. But everything seems to be fucked up for us. So it's nice to have, some hope with the Rockets. I say so much, man. Yo, talking to yourself is really hard. I don't know how Jorden does this so naturally. I'm so hungry. I'm so thirsty. I'm tired. Why did I record this now? You know what? I'm 8 minutes in. I'm not deleting this. I'm not restarting this. We're full send. So yeah, that's all of the Jorden nuts. Lane Kiffin, the college basketball, which I have no real comment on, and then little Rockets talk, which just turned into us being in pain because of All our sports teams. Houston needs the hockey team. That's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. Sorry, I got distracted by all the things on my shelf. We can do show and tell real quick. It's a Pokeball. There's a penguin. My wife built this for me. A little Sonic boy roasting a marshmallow over a fire. My wife also built that for me. And then my wife also built me this. Piranha plant. She got really into Legos for like 3 months. Oh, yeah. And also Pokemon card of our wedding. Did that have our names on it? It sure did. Fuck. Well, no one's going to see this shit anyways. Who cares? Plus, all my social medias have my name on it anyways. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Don't annoy my wife. Oh, no. Whatever. No one's going to see this shit. Don't clip this, Jorden. In fact, no, you don't got to cut it. That's a lot of work. Huh. I didn't think that through. Why is it bad? They can find out who I am so easily. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. No one listens to us anyways. And if you're still listening to this, I'm so fucking impressed. This is the ramblings of a broken man. Like, I'm just tired. Just tired. This is the worst podcast in the history of podcasts. And I'm okay with that. I'm not saying it's not entertaining, because it must be a little entertaining to listen to a man ramble about nothing to himself over and over again, and then keep on bringing up the fact that he's bad at it over and over again while he says 20,000 times. My stomach just growled and I'm in pain. I should have eaten definitely before I did this. Oh well. Hey, we made it to 10 minutes. I better start talking about my notes then, huh? All right. College football. Simple. Lane Kiffin was the big story about the ultimatum. That's hilarious. This is kind of a meh week. We got some big name schools playing absolute cupcakes. So, but I was able to find five big games. Number 22, Missouri at number 8, Oklahoma. Number 15 at number 7, Oregon. TCU at 23, Houston. Congratulations, Houston's ranked. 11, BYU at Cincinnati. And Pittsburgh at 16, Georgia Tech. Man, oh man, Pittsburgh beating Georgia Tech would be huge for Notre Dame. Make that ranked victory look better. Knock off Georgia Tech. Missouri beating Oklahoma would be awesome too. So my dad sent me a very, very funny email that one of his former roommates. So my dad went to Notre Dame, and he keeps in contact with a lot of his roommates. And he sent him an email to this guy, or he sent the group an email, but he was specifically talking to a guy that is like head chairman of hating USC headquarters. Like, it's crazy. This man hates USC, and my dad is like, let's poke the bear. So he was like, hey, I think his name is Charlie. Hey, Charlie. So technically the Ducks are in front of us, and we want home field. So we got to knock off. We got to, be 5, 6, 7, or 8. Should we be cheering for USC this weekend since they play Oregon? And he sent a very funny response, just being like, hell no. What are you talking about? He said, in the terms of USC, the answer is simple. Are you crazy, Wiz? Well, the Wiz is part of my last name. It's a nickname that all of us have had. WIZ. He lists off a bunch of like dates that are very, very annoying, that like bad losses and stuff, like tush push, and then upsetting us a couple times. The worst loss in Irish history in 1964. Theismann throws for 500 yards in a downpour. Just a bunch of stuff, right? It's a bunch of big games in the rivalry that have not gone our way. And he said, and of course he has the 2005 Bush push. And he says, USC deserves to lose every game by 1,000 until every scintilla of the stench of the Silver Fox, the evil one McKay, the Fat Man, John Robinson, and every Trojan player, coach, alumni, supporter, and the campus is entirely wiped out and expunged from all creation. Most of all, I wish the effing white nag, traveler, to be sent to the glue factory. So apparently that's a horse. And so I just, that made me laugh really hard. Just picturing my dad's almost 70-year-old friend just filled with hatred about this school. And my brother heavily agrees. I play the numbers game. Like, I want USC to lose. They fucking hate USC. They're the only. USC is the only team that will make me cheer for the Texas Aggies or the Texas A&M, because I would rather the Aggies win the national championship and have to deal with that rabid fan base and some of my friends giving me shit than I would if USC. That's the only situation I would cheer for A&M in the national championship. Not Michigan. Even as I went to Alabama for a couple years, even as an Alabama guy, not Auburn. USC. USC is the one and done. Oh my God, I'd cheer for Auburn over Texas A&M for a national championship? I don't know. I might not watch it, that's a lie. But that'd be a hard one. Over USC, absolutely, but Texas A&M and Auburn, that'd be close. I still think I'd go for Auburn, which is not great as a Notre Dame guy or as a Alabama guy. Yeah, so that's college football. This is a really good idea with just the absolute piss poor worst execution on my part. Jordan's going to crush it, and I sound like I'm glazing him, but he is objectively the better podcaster. And I'm just rambling and stumbling through this. Maybe I should have had like this is not the answer to anything, by the way. This is a horrible thing I'm about to say. Maybe I should have woke up and had a mimosa and a breakfast before doing this, just to try and relax. I don't know. It's not like I'm anxious. Shut the fuck up, Brian. Move on. Anyways, no one gives a shit about this. This is the drum. This is the ramblings of a very tired human. 16, almost 17 minutes in. Oh my God. Why are you here? Go away. Go do something. Go listen to Jordan's part and go do something with your life. This is bad. If you spent 17 minutes with me, you should feel bad. You should question things about yourself, that you would listen to this guy talk for 17 minutes straight about nothing. Barely forming a coherent thought. And by the way, this may sound like I'm being hard on myself. I find this so funny. I find this so funny. I am not going to walk away being like, oh, I'm sad. I don't know why I did the fingers, but I'm sad. Well, I didn't podcast good. No, I think this is ridiculous content. And if you were still here listening to these continued rantings about nothing, may God have mercy on your soul, because you are a dangerous human and you should probably be I can't say that word. It's just one of the words that I cannot say. Institutionalized? I think that's it. All right, well, whatever. Moving over to the NFL. Davis Mills is starting versus Buffalo. Of course, by the time you're seeing this, it doesn't matter. We have the result. I'm going to go in cautiously optimistic, hoping that the Bills' defense is still cheeks. But that being said, I think the Bills have refound the spark, and I think tonight is going to be a bloodbath. I really do. I think this is the one time the defense is going to really. This is the wake up call defense game where they're going to get slacked, and then the defense is like, "Hey, we got too relaxed. We've been too relaxed recently, so we gotta get on them." I don't know. I don't know why I think that. It's just a feeling in my gut. I think this might be a halfway through the third quarter we bounce from the game. God, my wife's has an alarm set for 6 a.m. tomorrow. Well, actually, we have alarms set for 6 a.m. every day, but after coming home from a football game after tailgating that alarm's gonna hurt me in ways I've never been hurt before. I can feel it. I can fucking feel it.
Thanks, Brian. Probably should have Brian end it. I don't know. Davis Mills. He is spiritually to me like that guy on your college basketball team who's just there for fun. Like he's either a walk-on or a guy they recruited, but like clearly was never going to be the guy. It's very fun to watch him play from I don't really expect anything from him standard. Like when CJ Stroud plays as a Texans fan, I look at him and go like, you better play. Like we are paying you. Like you better work, bitch. You better play. Weird. I expect him to play really well because that is his like job. That is his job as a starting quarterback, as this like future project for the Texans. When Davis Mills comes in, I go, oh, okay, oh, that's fun. We're gonna have a little fun tonight. Davis Mills is also 2-0 right now with the Texans since CJ Stroud got his concussion. He beat the Jags. Now, again, beating the Jags was pure willpower and the fact that the final score does not reflect what I think the game actually was, and that's okay. That's beautiful. It's a W is a W. Every team needs a guy like this. And I mean that like you need a guy you can just go like, he's fun. He'll be fine. And I mean that, I keep saying I mean that, but like 53 for 86 with 566 yards, 1 interception and 1 rushing touchdown. That's pretty good stats for 2 games, especially in this era of football, especially for a guy who, again, we don't expect much of. I am somewhat thrilled to see what's going to happen with him, only because I don't expect anything from him. Like tonight, when he plays the Bills, and this might be outdated by the time. I mean, a 2-1 Davis Mills is better than an 0-3 Davis Mills or an 0-3 CJ Stroud, or even a 2-1 CJ Stroud. Actually, I'd take a 2-1 CJ Stroud, like a 1-2 CJ Stroud. A 2-1 Davis Mills for these 3 games, this 3-game stretch, I'll take. If it's 3-0, I'll love. 2-1, I'll take. Especially with the way that the wild card shaping up, or the wild card spots are shaping up with those seeding. It's all kind of looking. I keep calling it the wild card. It's not the wild card anymore because we're seeding, but you get what I'm saying. I am cautious on any sort of any. I'm not saying anyone say Davis Mills should replace CJ Stroud. I think that's an inappropriate take as it is. I do wonder if the Bills lose to the Texans, which may be because of they have like they're the second worst run defense in all of the NFL, which is, pretty heinous. Like that's just a heinous stat, right? That's on Sean McDermott like a lot. That's a pretty, like for a team that we all expect to make the playoffs, pretty heinous stat. That said, Woody Marks. Woody Marks. Sorry. I don't know why I said Woody Page. Who is Woody Page? I'm sorry. I'm going to cut this. Brian's on here, so I can do this real quickly. It was Woody Page. He's a column. Oh, he was on Around the Around the Horn. I'm sorry. Rest in peace. Not the show, not the guy. I think the guy's fine. I wonder if you can do something with like Marks and Chubb where you get a good 250 from them. Give me, I don't know. I don't think this is gonna. I trust our defense with these guys. Again, this will all be outdated by the time this podcast comes out, so I'm not really gonna spend too much time on it. I do wonder if a 3-0 Davis Mills creates calls for a Mills kingdom and a Stroud submission. Do I think that's the correct thing, even if Davis Mills is putting up 800 yards over 3 games, 1,000 yards over 3 games? No, I don't particularly want Davis Mills as the starting quarterback for the Texans, no matter how good he's playing. At the same time, I'm not going to fight you on it. The CJ Stroud hasn't looked remarkable this season, but I don't think all the problems are CJ Stroud's fault. We'll see what happens. This is still a thought. So this is why I'm giving both sides right now, because I don't know what's going to happen this evening.
Anyways, number 2, my only other note: do the Chiefs make the playoffs this year? Look, it's the Chiefs. All right, it's Andy Reid, it's Patrick Mahomes. If they scrape, and crawl their way into the playoffs, they are just as live as anyone else. They are the team that I trust to flip the playoff switch more than any team in the NFL currently. I'd say Brady is the only other guy. I'd say Patrick Mahomes flips it on for the playoffs better than any quarterback outside of a man named Tom Brady. And Big Dick Nick. Nick Foles, just miracle run. That was crazy. But I digress. I think the Chiefs are gonna miss the playoffs. I do think that they're 5-5 and they don't have an exactly easy schedule. I don't think. Let's see. Chiefs schedule. Okay, well, they have a get-right game against the Cowboys. No. They have the Colts this Sunday. They have the Colts, which is one of the best teams in the NFL. The Chiefs haven't looked that good, especially on defense. So that's an L. So 5-6. Why do I do this all the time? This is my fallback plan of let's go through a schedule and just say yes, no, yes, no. Anyways, back to yes, knowing. Chiefs at Cowboys, get right game, 6-6. Texans at Chiefs, that feels like an L for the Texans. I don't know why. Texans is playing outside a primetime game at Kansas City. Kansas City's life is on the line, essentially. Yeah, so I'm gonna say the Chiefs win that. So they're 7-6. Chargers beat them earlier this year, but Chargers are also not the same team. So that's a dub too. So what was it? 5-6, 6-6, 7-6, 8-6. Chiefs at Titans, 9-6. Broncos at Chiefs. Wait, how can they be 10-6? 5-5. All right. 5-5. Colts L, so 5-6. Cowboys 6-6. Texans 7-6. Chargers 8-6. Titans 9-6. Broncos, they lose to the Broncos, so 9-7. Chiefs play the Raiders 10-7. I think they scamper in if they can go 10-7. So they can only lose. I have them losing to the Colts and the Broncos. I think those are almost guaranteed losses. Almost. Ooh, it's a Christmas Day game. That's going to be fun. I don't know. Maybe Broncos isn't an L. The Broncos are a wild team. But yeah, no, they can scamper in there, and if they scamper in there, they're just as deadly as could be. Patrick Mahomes with no expectations might be the most dangerous quarterback in the league. Sorry. Yeah. Oh shit! I've been going for 23 minutes. I need to wrap this up.
Chiefs, will they make the playoffs? I will get to why I do or do not think they're going to make the playoffs. I'm going to give you some information before we get to the point where I make that call, because despite the fact that the Chiefs have looked weird this season, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I think it's just weird. Last season, they kind of looked weird too the entire season, where they win almost every, they were 15-1 last season? Sorry, 16-1 last season. I always forget their 17 games. They were 16-1 last season or something like that. where they won a ton of close games at the last second. Like they're doing the opposite of what they did. They were doing the opposite of what they're doing now, which is they can't seem to win a close game for the life of them. And I don't know how to categorize the Chiefs. Like I saw someone say the problem with the Chiefs is they're top heavy in their salary cap, where you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Travis Kelce, you have Chris Jones as like three guys at the top of that salary cap where you can't invest in younger guys, better guys. I don't know if that's the right call. Like I never loved Travis Kelce for the reason I wish he would block. He just doesn't block. And like, I understand that's the scheme the Chiefs run. At the same time, he's a tight end. I like a spiritual blocker in some capacity, but that's not his fault. It's not like he actively refuses to. Chris Jones, he may be like 31 and he's not getting maybe the tackles he used to, but at the same time, he's an offensive tackle or defensive tackle, not an end. I'm expecting him to stop the run game or put pressure on the quarterback. The Chiefs, I think, are 8th or 7th or 8th or 9th, somewhere in that range in terms of run defense of this league. Then he's fine. He's doing his job then. We're all okay with that. Like if we're looking at like, oh, he has lost tackles this season or like whatever. He's a defensive. I keep saying offensive. He's a defensive tackle. That's not his job. Like I'm not looking at him like, why aren't you going after the running back on a sweep? It's like, well, yeah, he's not going to get there probably. So, he's the running backs up the middle. Yeah, I expect him at least put a hand on the guy, but I don't need him to put all his hands on the guy. Really weird way to say that, but you get what I'm saying. So, they're losing close games. Look at the Broncos last week. I don't think that was a spectacular win for the Broncos. I think it was a win, but not a spectacular win. They have according to the NFL, they have a 45% chance to make the playoffs. It goes up or down depending on if they win or lose this week against the Colts, which will be an interesting game because traditionally this is a pretty easy win for the Chiefs. But this year I don't know. But the Colts offense is really slacking. And with the run defense they're running into, I'm not sure Jonathan Taylor can pick them out of this hole. ESPN I think had them like a 55%. I've seen like anywhere from like 45 to 60% to make the playoffs. I saw a stat that like their expected win loss based on all their stats, all the like expected play stuff. It should be 6-3 or like 7-3 or 6-4, somewhere in that range. To say they lose a lot of close games, they probably should be closing out given their historically. Their defense adjusted value over average, which means, how are you playing a team based on how good they are? It's below average. So it shows they're giving up more than average adjusted for the strength of the team. And so it's just a weird season for the Chiefs. Weird season for the Chiefs. And I don't know how, I don't think there's a way to categorize this easily. With that said, they're going to make the playoffs. Because if you look at the rest of their schedule, it'd be ridiculous if they didn't. They have the Colts this week. That's maybe a win, maybe a loss. I'm going to chalk it up to a win because I think the Colts are falling off. Whatever. They have a game against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I think that's a win. I don't think the Cowboys are that good. I think the Chiefs are better. It's Thanksgiving. It's in Dallas. So maybe that's a loss. I don't know. It's a win. It's a W or L. Yeah. You know what? Just for the sake of that, let's put it as a W. Okay. So what? They're at 6-6 now. Texans win. I'm just going to say that's a win no matter who's playing. 7-6 now. Chargers. They have an edge up the Chargers. I think they're going to get the Chargers. I just don't think the Chargers are going to do it this year with their depleted offensive line. Doesn't seem like Justin Herbert's going to be able to do as much. We're at 8-6 now. Titans. Okay. 9-6 now. Broncos. Should they get their win back? Yes. At the same time, it's on Christmas and it's I think it's at the Broncos. It's at Mile High. Sorry. I think that's a loss now. So we're at 9-7. And then you have the Raiders. That's probably a win unless there's no chance that they miss the playoffs or the working proceeding. A 10-7 final record should get them in the playoffs. Probably will get them in the playoffs. Barely, but it'll get them in the playoffs nonetheless. And even that, I could see an 11-6 world. So I'm not against them missing the playoffs. Last thing, Shedeur Sanders is going to start for the Browns this weekend. My take. I don't have a take. This is his first week practicing with the first team. taking snaps with the first team. It could be the best. It could be good for him. Could be the worst thing that ever happened. I'm sure no matter what happens, everyone's going to take this very reasonably, have great takes. We're going to think through this like gentlemen. And no one's going to yell about anything whatsoever. And I can't get my hair to look right on camera.
All right, let me just go through picks real quick. Sorry, I got distracted. I went 12-3 last week, bringing my pick'em total up to 92, 57, and 1. I'm just going to run through the games just like we do with Jordan's here. Bills at Texans. I've got the Bills. I think the Bills are back on a bounce back, and I think we're about to be a victim. Colts at Chiefs. I wrote down the Chiefs, but after that spiel, I'm going to switch to the Colts. I'll keep the Chiefs, even though I just went through that whole spiel. We roll with what I picked. Seahawks at Titans. Seahawks easy. Vikings at Packers. Jets at Ravens. But that's a sneaky fun game. Giants at Lions, also a sneaky fun game. Lions. Steelers at Bears. If Aaron Rodgers plays that game, that's going to be fun. I hope he comes back to one last fuck you to Chicago. That's going to be fun. But I doubt he plays. So I'm still going to go Steelers, though. Just because this feels like a letdown spot for the Bears. Patriots at Bengals. Patriots. That's going to be a high-scoring game, too. Browns at Raiders. I'm going to go Browns. I feel like, fuck it. Shedeur's getting his first start. He's going to get his first win. This defense is really good. The Raiders are really not good at all. They're ass. So I'm going to go Browns. Shedeur gets his first win as a starter. Jaguars at Cardinals. Jaguars easy. Eagles at Cowboys. Eagles and the over as much as possible. Falcons at Saints. Falcons. God, what a shitty game that is. Buccaneers at Rams. I'm going Rams, man. The Rams might be the best team in the NFL. I know we were talking about the Colts, but Rams might be the number one. And Panthers at 49ers. I'm going 49ers. That should be a relatively fun game. All right, jumping over to my side of things. I'm like, I got killed this weekend. I didn't total up. I don't have the total, but before last weekend I was 74, 80, and 2. And for next week's show, I will make sure to tally both this week and next week and have the record up because it's bad. We're having a bad time. Anyways, Bills -6, Colts +3, Packers -6.5, Patriots -6.5, Giants, Lions over 49.5, Jets +14.5, Bears -2.5. That's funny. Why did I pick the Bears? Whatever. Seahawks and Titans over 40 points because the Seahawks might score 41 points by themselves. Browns money line, like I said, Shedeur Sanders. Here we go. I don't know what to expect. I just think the Raiders are that bad. Jaguars -3, Falcons moneyline, Eagles, Cowboys over 47 for the house. Don't actually bet the house, is not betting advice. Buccaneers +6.5, Panthers, 49ers over 47.5. Let's have a good weekend.
So that's it. That's the Tale Up 2 podcast. I've been doing this for almost 30 minutes, so good for me.
I guess this is the part where Jordan would ask me, do I have any more notes? And I would say, no, I don't. No, not again. Oh, sorry. No, I don't have any more notes. And then he'd say, yeah, I don't have any more notes either.
This was the Tale of Two podcast. Brian, where can the people find you?
And then he'd ask me, hey, Brian, where can you find you? And I would say, you can find me across all social medias at Auric Polaris, AURICPOOLARIS, especially at twitch.tv/Auric Polaris. Elden Ring continues. I'm going to start probably throwing in some Hollow Knight or some more like team games with my friends, like the Pico Park group. But we need to get that ramped up and going. Yeah, let's have a good weekend, everyone. I can't believe this went on for 27 minutes. And if you made it this far, I'm going to desperately ask you to go see a therapist. You've got some things to work out. And you need to go get them checked out sooner rather than later. Almost 28 minutes of me pissing into the wind, wondering why it's raining. I don't even know what that means. Oh my God. Anyways, I've lost the plot. Yeah, that's going to do it for me. Jorden will either be coming up next, or you just heard Jorden before this shit rambling.
You can find me at Jordan's Thoughts on Twitter and then across all Moonstand platforms. I actually should have a blog finally this week. So please be tuned in for that. Thank you so much for listening. We will please like, subscribe, rate, whatever you can do wherever you're listening, and we will see you next week.
Y'all have a good weekend, and let's have a weekend, shall we?